It took 40 years before the generation of liberated slaves had died out. A nation of nomadic warriors gathered at the foot of Mount Nebo in a somber assembly. Moses, their leader and liberator, the man who communed with God, was nearing the end of his days. Moses called his student, Joshua, to be with him in his final hours.
Joshua, it's time.
My teacher, do not leave us here when we need you most.
Go with the people into their land. Draw lots and divide it among the tribes. It is their inheritance. You must lead the tribes now. Lead firmly and with authority. For the greatest trial will not be poverty, but affluence. Not slavery, but freedom. Be clear, be decisive, be forceful, be strong.
Moses blessed the tribes and appointed Joshua their leader. Alone, Moses ascended Mount Nebo and looked across the Jordan River to the land of his forefathers. It was the closest he would come to the land of Israel. He vanished on the mountain, and no man ever knew the place of his burial, even to this day. After 30 days of mourning, Joshua gathered the tribal leaders and prepared them to cross the Jordan River into the Promised Land. They had carried the bones of Joseph from Egypt. Their first mission was to bury him in Shechem.
We'll cross the river and then march our nation to Jericho, the gateway to this land. They have their city, but God is with us. He will instill fear in their hearts, and the land will be ours for the taking.
As the people walked into the river, the tide retreated, leaving dry land. The priests stood with the ark in the riverbed as the entire nation crossed over. Joshua chose two brave men, Phinehas the priest, son of Eleazar, and Caleb of the tribe of Judah, for a secret mission: to properly plan for battle against the well-fortified city of Jericho. They would enter the walled city, gather intelligence on their defenses, and report back. They came to a lodge at the house of a woman named Rahab, but they had not gone unnoticed. Word reached the king that Rahab was harboring two strangely dressed men, foreigners in her house. The king sent his guards to take the men by force.
Rahab, we know you're hiding foreigners in your house. By order of the king, turn them over to me. They are spies.
Two men did come to me, but I had no idea they were spies. They left at nightfall.
Search the house!
There's no one here, sir.
I told you they left. They can't have gotten far. Go quickly. You may catch them.
The guards left. Rahab barred the door and climbed up to the roof, where she had hidden Caleb and Phinehas under stalks of flax.
Are you both all right?
Are they gone?
Yes, for now. But they will be back. This whole land is terrified of you. We know of the strange happenings in Egypt and the wrath of your God. We know the end is near. My lords, since I have shown loyalty to you, swear you will protect my family. When the time comes, remember me.
Rahab, in light of your courage, we swear that you and your family will be spared.
In the dead of the night, the two spies lowered themselves from the roof with a rope.
Make for the hills. Hide for 3 days. Then, go back to your people.
When we return to this city, it will be a full invasion. Take a length of crimson cord. Tie it and let it hang from your window. The Israelite men will know by this cord not to come into this house. Your family will live. God has delivered the whole land into our power. The Canaanites quake with fear before our very presence.
Good. Soon we will lay siege to that city, and then many others.
The Israelites were celebrating the festival of Passover in remembrance of their liberation from Egypt. Joshua walked out alone to look at Jericho. He raised his eyes and was startled to see a man standing close, sword drawn.
Are you an enemy? Come to kill me? Lay down your sword, Joshua. I'm here to reveal your path to victory, so that your people may redeem their birthright. Tell me, what is the Creator's will? God will deliver Jericho into your hands. Circle the city for 6 days. And on the 7th day, we will circle the city 7 times, with the priests blowing ram horns, followed by the Ark of the Covenant. And when a long blast is sounded, the people must give a mighty shout.
On the 7th day, on the 7th round.
Sound your horns, for the Lord has given you the city.
The city walls collapsed before their eyes, and the troops rushed into the city, killing man, woman, child, and animal. They set fire to Jericho and burned it to the ground. Only Rahab and her family were spared, in return for her protection of the 2 spies. Joshua chose 30,000 men, all valiant warriors, split them into 2 parties, and sent them ahead by night to wait behind Ai as an ambush party. The king of Ai saw Joshua and the remaining troops on the summit as they approached the city. He sent his soldiers to battle, but Joshua and his men ran towards the desert, the soldiers of Ai in hot pursuit. Joshua threw a spear towards the city, a sign for the ambush party. They entered the unguarded city and destroyed it.
Captain, I need your report.
The enemy is defeated. The entire population of Ai is dead.
The evils of this vile city must at least serve a purpose. As a warning, their king is also dead?
Yes. Impaled in battle.
Hang his body at the front of their fortress, then burn it with the others. Captain, raise the entire city.
Ai burned that night, and the tribes went on to conquer city after city. It took 7 years of war and battles against 31 cities. But the Israelites took the land under Joshua's strong leadership. They began to call Canaan the land of Israel. The tribe of Yehuda marched towards the Jebusite fortress, built over the Gihon spring. The city had once been Shalem, the site of Isaac's binding and Jacob's dream of a future temple. Yehuda's army stood in the deep valley, the impenetrable walls looming high above them. A siege would be impossible. Jebusites appeared on the battlements, hurtling snide remarks at the soldiers below. They brought out idols of blind and lame gods, placed in clear sight a message to the tribe of Yehuda.
Commander,
What's this?
we found her trying to sneak into the city. She's a Jebusite.
Young lady, explain to me the meaning behind that display up there. What exactly are your people implying?
How quickly you forget the oaths of your ancestors.
What are you talking about?
Your elders should have told you. Your army is useless here.
We have faced unbeatable odds before. I myself witnessed the destruction of Jericho. If God wills it,
He does not will it! My forefather Abimelech made a pact with Isaac, son of Abraham. Isaac swore Abimelech's descendants tenure of the land throughout the generations. He gifted a leather bridle to Abimelech as his oath. My people have not forgotten. Our idols are our testament.
Isaac the Blind.
And Jacob, who was made lame in his struggle with the divine. You have inherited his obligation.
Commander,
Let her go, and ready my horse. I must speak to the elders.
Commander, it appears you are defeated.
The mountain is too steep, their walls too high. And even if they weren't, we have discovered a third obstacle. The locals insist they have a deed of tenure from the days of our forefathers.
Oaths were exchanged, though we had assumed the pact of Abraham and Isaac had been breached and was void.
Not so. They have idols, keepsakes of the oath. They remember everything. Though from what I gather, this oath speaks of Dan's territory, not ours.
Abraham purchased the Hittite cave under the condition that we do not conquer the Jebusites of Jerusalem with bloodshed. If they retain proof, we must honor the conditions.
Then I must withdraw my troops.
Our people are tied to the sacred mountain. It may slip from our grasp now, but in time, Jerusalem will fall into our hands.
The tribes gradually settled, each taking a large parcel of land as its own province. Together, they raised the tabernacle in Shiloh, the land of Ephraim. Housing the Ark of the Covenant, Shiloh became the spiritual center of worship. And though the tribes had dispersed across the land, they would travel back to Shiloh often to take part in the festivals and sacrifices there. The elders of the land gifted Joshua his own city with rich pastures as tribute to his success and bravery in battle.